Menu engineering to control restaurant food costs can be one of the most powerful tools an independent restaurant can have at their disposal. If you want to make the most profit on your menu, you have to re-engineer it. But menu engineering is often thought of as a way to guide your customers into ordering what you want them to order. And while there are some design tips and ways to describe your food that increase sales of the items you want to sell, most restaurant owners aren't maximizing the real power of menu engineering. And that power can change your restaurant's financial outlook in a major way when it's done right. Look, if you like tips like this, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, oh yeah, and that bell to make sure you're notified when the next tip comes out. And oh, by the way, if you want more tips and tricks like this and restaurant success stories, make sure you check out my podcast, Restaurant Prosperity Formula, found on all the most popular podcasting services. Let me tell you about one of my members who was taking it on the chin using old school ideas on numbers when it came to creating a menu and managing his food cost. Now, he had done all the research. He wasn't normally a restaurant pro to begin with, but he was a CFO in the background. So he knew numbers and he went out and searched the internet. He read all the industry trade magazines. He found, what do they say when it comes to food cost? 34% food cost. That's what a restaurant's supposed to shoot for. Well, 3 times markup. Well, that's really not the truth. In fact, it's an absolutely wrong number. Now, this is also somebody who had all the right systems. Because he had a CFO background, he had budgets in place. He already had recipe costing cards in place. Heck, he was using a restaurant management software to manage the whole business. His numbers were dialed in, and he was shooting for and achieving the numbers that he was hoping to achieve. Well, he also went out and got expert advice. He hired those big name chefs to help him create the menu and create the costing cards and help him hit these target goals. So it's not somebody who went in there blind. He really dialed in and wanted to know. But again, I told you these things were wrong. So he and I started working together. This is after a couple years of operating his businesses. And he said, David, I need help. We got to dial this in. I said, no problem. So we started by redoing his budget. But if you know anything about me, if you've been on my YouTube channel, you know my favorite number is called prime cost, total cost of goods sold plus total labor costs, including taxes, benefits, insurance. And the old standard out there, if you were using this 34% food cost, had most operators hitting a 65% prime cost and total cost of goods sold and labor cost, what I call controllable expenses. But if you've worked with me, or you're on my YouTube channel, or you see me on any social media channel, or you read any articles on the industry rags that I often contribute to, or see me speak all over the country, you know that that's a fallacy, that in my world, if you do $850,000 or more a year in gross sales, your new prime cost target is 55%. That's 10 points lower. So we started to attack his budget, his controllable expenses, cost of goods sold and labor cost, using a 55% prime cost as our target. Put that in our minds. And what he quickly realized as we went through this process was what was really possible. And one of the things we determined is we had to re-engineer his menu. We had to take his food cost down from 33% to 26%. That's what we had to do. And this one piece of the equation helped his restaurant survive during the COVID crisis. Like it was already something he was struggling with, trying to make the money he deserved. But when COVID hit, it became critical when our labor costs start going through the roof because our sales are dropping like a rock. See, when you have recipe costing cards, your point of sales mix, right, that P mix report, and you use something like my menu profitability monitor, a simple spreadsheet that can tell you a ton about your menu, you're going to be able to know your ideal food cost. If there was no waste, no theft, no spoilage, perfect restaurant based on accurate up-to-date recipe costing cards, what your customers actually purchase, a weighted average where your food cost should be, not some national average you read out of a magazine, which is a complete asinine wrong number. You're going to be able to see where you should raise prices. I often teach people to raise them on the first, second, and third top 3 items in each one of your sections. So even though tomatoes may have gone up through the roof as a commodity, we're raising items on the top 3 because when they're that damn good, when they're that damn popular, when you raise the price, people still buy them. And we don't necessarily have to find everything that has a tomato and raise the price. or raise every item, which a lot of operators do. They wait 1-2 years and all of a sudden they raise everything and pray they don't get their ass kicked. You get to see the changes that you need to make when it comes to your recipes or products. Maybe the recipe has way too much brisket in it, and by trimming 2 ounces, you can make it now a profitable dish. Maybe you've got to go get a contract and switch your brisket to another product that is equally as good, better, but at a cheaper price because of volume discount. You're going to be able to see what you need to merchandise. If I put a picture of it, if I box it, if I place it in a specific area, if I have 5 items side by side, the first, second, last will sell the most. Through science, what you box and where you place it, you can influence what the customer buys and change your mix and change your bottom line because you have accurate, up-to-date recipe costing cards and your menu mix. You can see what to get rid of. You can start to see items that you only sell maybe 1 a day, and you don't. You sell 1 on a Wednesday, 1 on a Thursday, the rest on a Sunday. And 3 weeks goes by and a cook sees a ticket and goes, oh, I haven't made that in 3 weeks. And we start the inconsistencies that drive our customers away and drive our costs up. You're going to be able to see where to place an item, again, based on the science of eye movement studies. Like if I place an item here or here or here, I can change what my customers actually purchase, ultimately changing my bottom line, not just because I think I want them to order it. Last but not least, you can predict what a new item will do and any changes in your mix because you moved items around. You can literally put a swag, a scientific wild ass guess to where your food cost starts and where you're going to get it to. And that's, oh, by the way, based on your budget, because that ultimately, where you're going to be on prime cost, that matters. So if you want to take full advantage of menu engineering and take charge of your restaurant's financial future, especially operating during pandemic, you must get started on your recipe costing cards now. If you're tired of not being able to leave your restaurant because no one else knows how to run it, I want to make sure you know it doesn't have to be that way. You can leave your restaurant. It is possible to build a team of people who know how you want the restaurant to run. With these trained and responsible people in place, you can give yourself time away. What would you do if you had time away from your restaurant? Would you sleep better? Would your relationships improve? Would you feel more relaxed? These are all things you deserve to experience as a business owner. It's why we own our own businesses. If you would like to learn how to own a restaurant that doesn't depend on you to be successful, click the link in the description to watch a free training course that teaches you exactly what you have to do. Also, be sure to subscribe to get my weekly tips and watch these 2 videos to get more information and guidance for running a successful restaurant.